Good evening and welcome to the ICU main news at 8. Now, before we get into the details, let's take a quick look at the stories that are making headlines. And now, Zambia, Nkana boosts trade through business forum. Ministry of Tourism reviews national cultural policy. And government confirms full payment to maize farmers. And in international news, Iranian foreign minister says US talks in Oman a good beginning. And on the sports front, Nkana extend unbeaten run with prison win. And on the news desk, my name is Malua Eric Monamjed, and now the details. Zambia and Nkana have taken steps to strengthen bilateral business relations with the Zambian government, reaffirming its commitment to a transparent and investor-friendly business environment to support cross-border trade and economic growth. And now this was highlighted by Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Honorable Chipoka Mlenga, during the Ghana-Zambia Business Forum, which brought together business leaders and officials from both countries to explore partnership opportunities, in key sectors such as fintech and promote intra-African trade.
Excellencies, Mr. President, President of the Republic of Zambia, and his counterpart, President of the Republic of Ghana. Dear cabinet colleagues from both Zambia and Ghana in our midst, other government officials who have joined us this morning, let me also recognize the presence of the private sectors, both from Zambia and Ghana, that have joined us today at this business forum. Mr. President, Excellencies, I feel privileged today standing before you as a public servant in the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry to offer my welcoming remarks to this very important event today. As Zambia, we believe stronger businesses, most particularly business-to-business linkages, are key drivers to trade and growth, therefore creating employment opportunities and sustainable economic development. Yesterday, we listened patiently and carefully as His Excellency, the Ghanaian President, addressed the Zambian Parliament. He spoke about the need for transparency in business and also in leadership, most importantly, between the two countries. It is for this cause that yesterday His Excellency, President of the Republic of Zambia, President Hichilema, sent me to the central province of our country, particularly in Kabwe, where Zambia has invested over $140 million in our textile industry. Ladies and gentlemen, if you agree with me, I'm sure you have seen in the last few days when His Excellency landed, our social media has been taken awash with an amazing attire which His Excellency landed with, the fugu. Mr. President, I should mention that your counterpart is opening $140 million worth of textile industry. Please use that one as a base for developing the fugu for the other parts of Africa. Please place your orders. And it is from this forum where our President has always given directives that after these forums we should have business-to-business interactions in our deal rooms. Your Excellencies, I wish to welcome you as we freely interact from one and the next. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome, and thank you very much.
The Ministry of Tourism, through the Department of Culture and Traditional Affairs, convened a review meeting on the national cultural policy to strengthen Zambia's cultural governance framework. The meeting brought together key stakeholders to assess the effectiveness of the existing policy and identify areas for improvement. And participants reflected on current policy provisions and exchanged ideas on how the policy can better promote inclusivity, sustainability, and the protection of Zambia's diverse cultural heritage. The discussions provided an opportunity for stakeholders to share practical experiences and propose constructive recommendations. The meeting also emphasized the role of culture in national development. Stakeholders noted that a strong cultural policy supports social cohesion, promotes cultural industries, and enhances tourism growth, which contributes to economic development. Well, the review meeting reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to safeguarding cultural traditions and promoting Zambia's cultural identity. Well, the outcomes are expected to guide future policy reforms aimed at preserving and promoting cultural heritage for both present and future generations. The Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Reuben Mtolo Piri, Member of Parliament, has informed Parliament that government has fully paid farmers who supplied maize to the Food Reserve Agency during the 2025 crop marketing season. He said the agency had planned to purchase 443,000 metric tons of maize, but farmers produced far more due to favorable production conditions across the country. The minister stated that a total of 1,667,921.15 metric tons of maize valued at 11,314,750,520 kwacha was supplied by 846,655 farmers nationwide. This represented an increase of 307% above the planned target. As of the 15th of January 2026, government had released 11,348,474,100 kwacha to banks for farmer payments, leaving no outstanding balance. Honorable Piri also updated the House on maize exports, noting that Zambia had an exportable surplus of 501,621 metric tons. By the 31st of December 2025, a total of 202,876 metric tons had been exported by both the private sector and Food Reserve Agency. He further revealed that government had signed a contract with Malawi to export 200,000 metric tons of maize, with more than 37,000 metric tons already delivered. And looking ahead, the minister said government will prioritize digital payments in the 2026 crop marketing season to improve efficiency and transparency. He also announced plans to operationalize the warehouse receipt system to help farmers access financing. The minister commended farmers and other stakeholders for their contribution to food security and assured the House that government remains committed to strengthening agricultural markets and export systems. The Lusaka Mayor, Her Worship Ms. Chilando Chitangala, today participated in the Executive Meeting Committee of the Local Government Association of Zambia, LGAZ, held in Livingston. The meeting brought together mayors, town clerks, council chairpersons, and council secretaries from all 116 local authorities across the country to discuss issues affecting local government, administration, and development. The Executive Committee reviewed the implementation status of the 2025 Annual Work Plan and assessed progress made so far. Members also discussed the development of the LGAZ strategic plan for the period 2026 to 2030, noting that the strategic priorities were identified through wide consultations with stakeholders to ensure relevance and effectiveness. The meeting considered the draft annual work plan and budget for 2026, which is aligned with the proposed strategic plan. The committee also reviewed the financial sustainability strategy aimed at strengthening the association's long-term financial stability, as well as revised financial policy and procedures that integrate key provisions of the sustainability strategy. The meeting further highlighted the importance of integrating climate action into the association's operations, and members adopted a paperless approach to administrative processes as part of efforts to support global climate action. LGAZ building and collaboration among local authorities to improve service delivery and support local economic development across Zambia. We now go on our first break and we'll be right back with more of our local stories. To stay tuned.
We kickstart your day with our headline pick with the top stories making news.
Then we go deeper in our story pick where we break down issues that matter the most to you.
From the Health Desk, we share simple tips to keep you healthy and informed.
For Classic Fitness Minute to get your body moving before the day begins. And trending now, what's hot on social media?
Hello Zambia, my name is Amina Mutambo.
And I am Moluwaer Jemwana Majende, and we bring to your screens the ICU TV Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. And now, Machinga Province Assistant Secretary Evans Hijilema has warned health workers in Pika district against pilfering medicines meant for government health facilities. While speaking during a courtesy call on the Pika District Commissioner's office, Mr. Hijilema said the government is committed to ensuring that all health facilities in Pika district and the wider Machinga province are adequately stocked with essential medicines. And Mr. Hijilema explained that his visit to Mpika involved inspections of pharmacies and drug stores to establish whether any were illegally purchasing or reselling medicines intended for government health facilities. Well, he stressed that the government will not tolerate drug pilfering and warned that anyone found involved in such practices will face action from law enforcement agencies. Well, he added that access to essential medicines is critical to building a healthy population and supporting national development. Well, he expressed satisfaction that inspections conducted in Pika did not find any pharmacies or drug stores involved in the illegal sale of government medicines. And Mr. Hijilema noted that similar inspections would be extended to other districts, including Chinsali, as part of continued efforts to safeguard The meeting considered a draft annual plan and budget for 2026, which is aligned with proposed strategic plan. The committee also reviewed sustainability aimed at strengthening the association's long-term financial stability, as well as revised financial policy and procedures that integrate provisions and sustainability strategies. Well, the Lusaka Mayor, Her Worship Mr. Pardon. Well, the government has apologized to for that little glitch due to some technical difficulties. And now the government has apologized to motorists, businesses, and the general public for the inconvenience caused by recent diesel shortages experienced in some parts of the country. Well, in a statement issued to ZNBC News today, Energy Minister Makozo Chikote attributed the shortages to logistical challenges at the Ndola fuel terminal, which temporarily slowed the loading and distribution of fuel to depots and service stations. While Mr. Chikote said the operational constraints resulted in sporadic shortages in certain areas, and he said despite the disruption, the country continues to hold sufficient fuel reserves to meet national demand. Well, according to the Energy Minister, as of 6th February 2026, national diesel stocks stood at more than 113 million liters stored at Ndola fuel depot, with petrol stocks amounted to over 32 million liters held across depots and retail sites nationwide. Mr. Chikote said these volumes exceed the national minimum daily operating requirements of 5.4 million liters of diesel and 1.7 million liters of petrol, providing confidence in the continued availability of fuel on the market. He further disclosed that in the past 48 hours, oil marketing companies have uplifted 7.4 million liters of diesel from the Ndola fuel terminal. Well, Mr. Chikote said the fuel is currently being distributed across the country to replenish service stations and supply critical facilities as part of efforts to restore normal supply levels. Or he added that to prevent similar disruptions in future, the government has introduced measures including the prioritization of fuel loading at the terminal, improved scheduling of delivery trucks, and closer coordination among key players in the petroleum supply chain. And the Energy Minister said that government remains committed to ensuring a stable, reliable, and efficient supply of petroleum products across the country. We now go on another break and we'll be right back with our international news and sports news. Do stay glued.
We are the dreamers reaching for the sky. At ICU, together we will rise. With knowledge and passion, we aim to achieve a future so bright, with more to believe. We're building
Are the best graduating students, masters in the School of Humanities.
won't be denied. From Lusaka to the world, we stand tall and strong.
Hi, I'm Nkana Moyo, and I am ICU.
We're rising high with education.
Welcome back. Now in our international news, well, senior US and Iranian officials have held talks in Oman amid a crisis that has raised fears of a military confrontation between the two countries. Now, the indirect discussions in the capital, Muscat, happened as the US military builds up its presence in the Middle East in response to Iran's violent repression of nationwide anti-government protests last month, which human rights groups say killed many thousands of people. While speaking on state television after the talks, Iranian Foreign Minister Archie said negotiators would return to their capitals for consultations, but described the meeting as a good beginning. Iran had previously said the talks would be limited to its nuclear program, and the US, which is demanding Iran freezes its nuclear program and discards its stockpile of enriched uranium, had said the issue should also involve Iran's ballistic missiles and the country's support for regional armed groups. And still in international news, well, a high-profile general in Russia's military has been shot several times and wounded in Moscow. Well, Lieutenant General Vladimir Alexeyev was immediately taken to hospital after the attack in a residential block of flats on the northwestern outskirts of the Russian capital, and his condition is unknown. Well, Alexeyev is number 2 in the main directorate of Russia's GRU military intelligence and the latest high-ranking military figure to have been targeted in the capital since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine began almost 4 years ago. And he was placed under European Union and UK sanctions after the GRU was accused of being behind the 2018 nerve agent attack in Salisbury in the United Kingdom. We will now take another short break and we'll be right back for our sports news. Do stay tuned. You're watching the ICTV main news.
The Information and Communications University is driving the thrill for the nation in research and development. Enroll now for full-time and distance programs in the School of Engineering, Humanities, Business and Education. To apply, visit our website at www.icuzambia.net or call us on +260 211 221 662 or 0966 342 359. Sponsorship is available. Enroll now.
Welcome back. And now in sports news, Nkana Football Club recorded a 2-0 victory over Prison Lopez to extend their unbeaten run to 8 matches. Jacob Ngulube and Oliver Lumbia were on target in the 42nd and 88th minutes, earning the Kitwe Giants 3 points and their 4th successive win. While speaking after the match, Nkana coach Mwenya Chipepo said he was pleased with the team's performance, noting that the result reflected progress in building a more coordinated style of play. While Chipepo said the squad has remained competitive despite the absence of some players, including Matthews Banda, who has returned to his parent club, Kafua Celtic. But in other fixtures, Port Embo scored in the 33rd minute to give Mufulira Wanderers a 1-0 victory over Mines United. While Mtondo Stars and Nchanga Rangers shared the spoils after the playing out of a goalless draw. All 4 matches are scheduled for Saturday, with Green Buffaloes facing Nkwazi, Zanaco hosting Muza, and Green Eagles taking on Napsa Stars. At the Railway Stadium, Kabwe Warriors will be up against Kansenshi Dynamos. With that sports item, we come to the end of the ICTV main news at 8. Now, before we go, let's take a quick look at the stories that made headlines. And now, Zambia Ghana boost trade through business forum. Ministry of Tourism reviews national cultural policy. And government confirms full payment to maize farmers. And in international news, Iranian foreign minister says US talks in Oman a good beginning. And on the sports front, Nkana extend unbeaten run with prison win. Thank you for staying glued to the ICTV main news. I've been your anchor this evening, Malwa Eric Jem Wanamjan. For more news updates, do stay glued to our Facebook page, that is ICTV, and our website, that is ictvzm.com. Have a lovely evening.